Hello, hello, and welcome to Leading Up, where we talk about the most important things for you in your life, how to lead better, how to live better, how to do better in every aspect of your life. Today, we are here to talk about how to manage your time better using the 0 to 10 rule. This is an important episode. I'm so glad you're here with me. I also have a gift for you. Let's start. Let's lead up. When you talk about time management, you talk about life management, and managing your time is actually managing your most important resource. You only have 24 hours a day. You only have 7 days a week. And in the life that you only have this many days on earth. So the question is, what do you do with your time? How do you make your time count? A lot of people struggle with time management because they just never stop to think, to plan, to strategize how to do this better. This is your opportunity. This is your reminder to remember how important it is to manage your time so that you don't run around, doing, which is what our culture glorifies, but you actually do less and accomplish more. If I was to summarize what time management really means to me, time management is all about actually doing less, but doing the most important things. When we talk about managing your time, we also talk about managing your energy. Because if you don't manage your time well, it will lead you to a point of burnout. It will lead you to a point of feeling exhausted. It will lead you to a point where you feel really frustrated because at the end of the day, you cannot get everything done. I encounter situations with leaders all the time where the leader would say, I am so busy. I have so many things to do that I don't even get to talk to my team. I am so busy. I have so many things on my to-do list that I have people in my team that I didn't get to touch base with for the past few weeks. If there's anybody in the company who needs to do less and focus more, strategize more, that would be the leader. So the most important thing for you to remember is that if you feel that you are overwhelmed, if you feel that you have too much to do, if you feel that you are not getting things done and it frustrates you, there is a way to do this better. I have a tool that I've developed over many years of research and field work, and I'm going to share it with you today. But just so that we can laugh for a moment, pause for a moment together, let's watch this.
Listen, I need to take off a little early today. I was up all night working on my philosophy paper, and I didn't get to crack one book for my lit exam.
Denied.
Look, I didn't get a scholarship so that I could shovel hash browns into the mouths of entitled undergrads. Right? No, seriously. I need to study.
No, man, I feel for you. I really do. I know how hard it is juggling classes and work. I see other kids struggling with it all the time, but they get there.
Yeah, how?
3 words. Time management skills. It's about planning. I used to be all over the place, just like you, Phil.
Lip.
And then I took a webinar on increasing productivity, and it changed my life.
Okay, see, I don't need a webinar. I need an extra 30 minutes to study for lit.
I'm sorry, man. I can't help you.
I've been in this situation myself. I remember when I was studying for my PhD and I was a full-time working mom of 3 very young kids. We had an interview in the course of the process, and I remember being asked by the committee, what is your most important challenge, your most difficult challenge right now? And I remember sitting there exhausted and tired, full-time working mom, full-time student, very young kids. And I remember looking at them and saying, time. My challenge is time. I just don't have enough time. And so what I learned to do over the course of those years, when I was a full-time working mom of 3 very young kids and a full-time student, is to prioritize. One of the things that I learned was to focus on what matters the most. And I want to share the tool that I discovered over the course of that time with you. So over the course of my PhD, I came upon a tool that was originally used for measuring depression. And the tool was there in order to help the depressed person figure out if they feel better on a certain day compared to another day. Because, for someone who is depressed, all the days seem just black and dark and grim. But when you ask someone a scaling question, where the worst that you feel is a 0 and the best that you feel is 10, and they tell you, yeah, yesterday was a bad day, that was a 1. And you ask them, how are you feeling today? And they say today is a 2. Very quickly, in just 2 words, you could say to them that today is better than yesterday. And I remember thinking about that tool and liking it so much because it spared having to use a lot of words and borrowing it to my own life so that I can prioritize very, very quickly and see which of my tasks were 10s, what things in my life are a 10 at that given time, and what things just have to go because they're a 2 or a 3 or a 1 and they don't matter as much. One of the things that happens to leaders, one of the things that happens to people in their lives is that they just find themselves running, doing the 2s and the 3s and the 1s, and they don't even get to do the 10 for that day. They don't even get to do the most important things for that day. So they are running. If you ask them, they will tell you, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I ran around the whole day. I had to do so many things. But the question is, not if you ran around and did things. Nobody cares about that. The question is, what did you do? Did you get the most important things done? Because maybe today you'll only do 2 things, 3 things, but let those be the most important things on your agenda. The 1s, the 2s, the 3s, they can wait. So here's what I want you to do differently so that you can guard your time, so that you can guard your energy, so that you can have the time for work-life balance. And if you haven't checked out my episode on work-life balance, you absolutely should, because the 0 to 10 rule, which is the most important tool that I have for you to manage your time, your energy, and your life better. And I know that this tool not only helped me get the most important things done in my life, but I've also been using it with leaders and teams for over a decade. And it's extremely helpful because when the leader says to the team, guys, why are we focusing on the 1s and the 2s? This is our 10. This is our 10. This is a 15 right now. There's no need for so many words. Whenever the leader is clear, the team thrives. And nothing is clearer than the 0 to 10 rule. It's your job as the leader to do 2 things. Number 1, in your own professional and personal life, make sure that you are very clear every day, every week, every month, every minute on what are the most important things for you and how you're going to make sure to get those done. And with your team, make sure that the team is crystal clear on what matters the most at any given moment. And if you use that language, the language of the 0 to 10 rule with your team, you're going to spare yourself a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of lack of clarity, a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety, because the team will be clear at any given moment that if you said that something is a 10, it has to get done. If you check yourself, one of the things that you'll find out is that not only that you are spending time in your personal and professional life on the 2s and the 1s and the 3s while not even getting to your 10s, the most important things in your life, in your career, the most important goals that you have, but also your team is spending time on the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and they don't even get to do the 10s, the 11s, the 12s, the 9s, the most important things done. So 2 ways you can use the 0 to 10 rule right now. Number 1 is in writing. So if you're making a to-do list for yourself, make sure that on that to-do list, you are scaling things in terms of importance. And a lot of times when I create a to-do list for myself and I write down what needs to get done, once I marked something as a 10, I would either circle around it or make a big star around it, or I would highlight what the 10s are. Those are the things that need to get done. So when you write it and you actually see it, you can see visually, this is a 10, this is a 2, this is what I need to do. The same thing with your team. When you're creating a list with your team of what needs to get done, which you should, make sure that you clarify to them and with them, what's a 10, what's a 7, what's a 3, and what's a 2. And only when they have that clarity, that mental clarity of what is the most important thing, only then they should start their day, not before. Otherwise, there is confusion and waste of time. On a decision-making basis, which is the second way of using the 0 to 10 rule, when you're facing a situation at the moment where you have to decide where you are putting your time. So let's say you have a document that you need to write or a summary that you need to write, and you have a call to a client that you need to make. And you're debating what to do at the moment. Where do you put your time? You can give it a number on the spot. So you can say, okay, writing that document is a 6. I got to call that client. That's a 10. I need to make contact with the client. So I'm dropping the document, calling the client. Within a second, this is a 6, this is a 10. Let's do the 10. So you can use the 0 to 10 rule both for time management and for making decisions on the spot of what to do with your time. And it's going to give you mental clarity of where to put your time within a minute. Let's talk about time management, and here are some questions that I got from you about time management. And if you have any additional questions, anything you want to ask me, don't forget to ask. You can send an email to me or just hit the button right here, and I promise you that I will answer your questions. So let's see what we have here. Hi, Dr. Michelle. I feel so overwhelmed. I have so much to do, and I feel like I never get things done. How can I change that and start actually getting things done in my life instead of spending all of my energy on feeling stressed and overwhelmed? So the stress and overwhelm that you're feeling is the result of you trying to do too much. That mindset of being busy and getting it all done, that is not the right mindset for you to have. You need to switch that mindset. And the mindset that you need to have is, how do I do less and accomplish more? Because you need to have enough time in your day also for self-care. You need to have time for your family, time to do things that will feed your soul and fuel your mind and give you energy. So instead of running around feeling stressed and overwhelmed, which is the result of not even pulling for a minute and thinking how to manage time better, what you need to do is get from reactive to proactive. The first thing you need to do is pause and think to yourself, okay, I need to take 5 minutes before the day starts and plan my day. And when you plan your day and write down what you're planning to do that day, the second thing you need to do is prioritize. What are the most important things in your day? What are your 10s? And once you've done that, start by focusing on the most important things for that day. I promise you that if you get better at focusing on your 10s, focusing on what matters the most, number one, you won't feel very guilty about dropping the 2s and 3s because you'll know that they're 2s and 3s, so you'll feel good about it. And number two, you'll have more mental energy and you won't feel so stressed and overwhelmed. Here's another question about time management. Dr. Michelle, I feel like I'm the worst. I'm such a procrastinator. I put things off and put them off again, and then try to hide the shame of messing up from myself and others. I just try to avoid the pain of having to admit that I messed up again because I kept procrastinating. How do I turn my life around? I'm sick of living this way. So let's talk about procrastination because this question comes up a lot. I know that you're thinking that procrastination is a question of time management, but it actually isn't. Procrastination is not about time management. Procrastination is a problem of impulsivity. Because what happens to you is at the moment, it's more pleasurable for your brain not to do it. And so the impulse is not to do something that is not pleasurable. What you need to do is curb your brain's tendency to do that to you. Your brain is making you choose a choice that is more pleasurable at the time, which is, can we just do this later? Can we do something more fun? I don't want to do that right now. And you hold yourself accountable by planning. It's great for your brain when you start your day unprepared. And then it's just out of that mental vagueness, it's just going to make you put things off. But when you start your day prepared and you make a list for yourself of what needs to get done, and you do that consistently every evening at the same time, preparing for the next day, you've basically curbed your brain's tendency to make you choose the impulsive choice of putting things off. So the first thing you need to do is every night, prepare for the next day, hold yourself accountable for 30 to 45 days. After that, first of all, you'll always prepare for the next day because you'll get used to it. And second of all, the choice of putting things off will become less and less a choice that you're making over and over again. Here's another question here. Hey, Dr. Michelle, I manage a team of 150 salespeople. The time wasting that is happening is literally beyond. I don't understand why people in my team are so inefficient, and I don't know how to help them improve. What can I do? In sales, beyond any other team, time is of the essence. Time management is the most important skill for salespeople. And it all starts with you. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what are you doing as a leader in order to help your sales team be more efficient? And the one thing you need to do as a leader is get really clear with them on what matters the most. Once that clarity comes from you, your team will follow. Make sure to pull things off, have a meeting with your team, and clarify to them at any given time, what are the 10s on their agenda? In sales, typically that would be contact with the client. And if your team is wasting time on tasks that don't produce sales, make sure to clarify to them what they need to do that is 10, and they will follow. Today, we talked about leading up by managing your time better using the 0 to 10 rule. And I know that I promised you a gift. You can download it right here. It's a worksheet for you, a cheat sheet on how to start using the 0 to 10 rule with yourself in your own personal life and also with your team. So you have 2 downloadable sheets there. You can use one for yourself and one for your team. And it has some great tips on it as well so that you can manage your time better, manage your energy better, lead better, and live better. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to keep up with all the new videos. Also, click on the link to watch another video.